mission mainly is to educate people and to train beekeepers and to help all the beekeepers within the area, Tennessee Valley Beekeepers area. We figure that about 1/3 of every bite that you take, that you eat at the table, is a result of a honeybee pollination. So it's very important that honeybees are to agricultural. Colony collapse disorder, there are many theories on what's going on. We know that pesticides have some effect on it. We don't know that the pesticides necessarily kill them, but it does weaken them down to where they can get viruses and other pests that we've noticed come in the last few years. Neonicotinoids are another thing that it's recent years that we feel is also contributing to it. So there's many factors. Nothing is actually proven yet. We're still searching that. You should be very concerned because once their pollinators disappear, a lot of our food sources will be disappearing. So it's going to become very important. And even the seed companies are now putting money towards looking into what's happening with the colony collapse disorder. In the last few years, we've noticed that a lot of our feral bees, honeybees, are disappearing. So just that alone tells us that we have an issue. So it's not just people keeping them, but even our feral bees are disappearing. Our bumblebees are disappearing up in the Midwest. So yes, we're noticing it. The beekeepers that are out there, we help, and we're trying to bring the colonies back up to where they once were. We normally keep a rock or something heavy on top of there so that the wind doesn't take this the telescoping cover off, which is what we're taking off right now. We have a feeder on this particular hive. These jars of sugar water, 1-to-1 sugar water ratio. We'll pop what we call the inner cover. Okay. We'll give it a shot of smoke here. Just the smoke, they don't know what it's a fire or what it is, so they will go down to look for, start gorging on honey. What we do is we pull a frame over on the side. This is so that we don't roll the queen and kill the queen. She will almost never be on the side. This is a fresh frame, strict what we call foundation. The bees have not built anything on it. We'll start moving over, going over. They've started building out just from there. If you can see a little bit of shiny stuff in it, that is actually honey that they brought in. It's not been capped over yet. This is just a honey frame. You can see it's capped over. Most of your brood patterns will be over towards the center because the queen always lays towards the center. Here you see the actual brood. The brown in this area here is actually the brood where they are getting ready to raise. They will always put honey and pollen around the outsides here and put their broods towards the center. This is a good brood pattern. She's filled all of it. This is capped. They are probably just anyways from 1 to 4 to 5 days from hatching out. We can tell a lot just by taking up and looking at the frames like this. We actually don't have to go down into them every time. We can actually see what's going on from the bottom side and then looking down in here. So it saves us having to get into, and disturbing them all the time. Okay, we're going into the extraction process now. We take this is a scratcher. What he's doing is scratching the tops off of the cap, what we call the caps, called decapping process off of there. We can also use a knife and actually cut those tops off, but usually because of we have to use this fork-like apparatus sometimes anyhow because the comb is uneven. So cap it off, you can see the shininess come in, takes the caps off. The centrifuge is actually, as this thing spins, it pulls the honey out to the side. It's like a centrifuge that you read about all the time, but it actually slings the honey out against the sides. It wobbles a little bit because if the difference in the weight on the different frames will cause it to be out of balance just a bit. It filters out, and this is where we actually get the fruits of our labor. You can see it pouring out into the jar there. We can actually do our taste right here, coming off of here or into here. And we've got some real good honey this time. Real nice. It's got a good sweet taste, flowery, very, very nice. For a large scale, you can figure roughly 30% or a third of your food supply disappearing in one way or another. It's not necessarily the vegetables and that kind of stuff that you eat, but also you have grains and everything going into your meats and that kind of thing. So it affects everything all the way across. Einstein is said to have said that if the honeybees disappear, that within 4 years we would disappear, or our food supply would disappear.